Hello, everybody. Um, Cornell, No Such Thing podcast here. I'm using a green screen. I'm just trying something different tonight. And this is from the Kaimichi Mountains. I haven't got used to the green screen yet. Oh, it's weird. But this is my first time using Zoom via a green screen. And I thought I would try it out, see how it looked. Just something different. I'm always trying new things. So I'm going to take you through March 21st, approximately 3:30 in the morning, which is when I had some kind of an encounter. I have told this story before, but I've had time to reflect on it, and it's not a big deal. I just want to talk about it. It's not the end all be all of encounter stories. It's quite mild, but it's the reaction. My own reaction has puzzled me. It's made me think about how going into this whole research field, it has made me question myself and how much grit I've got and how much balls I've got when approaching this subject. If I had a face-to-face encounter, what would happen? And I've heard so many stories. I mean, I've been listening to Sasquatch Chronicles for years and listening to many different scenarios of how people react in an encounter. And there's many different levels of encounters. Like some people shit themselves. Some people are frozen in fear. Some people run. This is like in terms of face-to-face encounters. Obviously, you're not going to shit yourself if you just hear something. But and then you've got all of the opinions of what this thing is and how dangerous it is it harmless or not, and how you should react based on all of those beliefs. You know what I mean? And excuse me, but that all goes out the window at 3:30 in the morning. For me anyway, in the middle of nowhere. When you're woken up suddenly. And I explained to Dave Wilbanks last night from Bigfoot and More. When you wake up at 3:30 in the morning, if you have a worry, we all have anxiety about different stuff. Our kids, bills, a job interview, stuff like that. And sometimes it makes you wake up early in the morning, and you can't get back to sleep. You're thinking about it, and everything's amplified at my mic. It's not cooperating with the green screen, but everything's amplified at that time of night for some reason, or that time of morning. But for me, I'm not trying to cash in on this story, by the way. I just kind of want to catalog it and bring, now that I've had time to reflect, I just kind of want to bring it all into, I want to consolidate it. You know what I mean? I don't know if you know what I mean, but I'm not trying to just get like hits and views out of a story that I've done to death. I just want to catalog this story and tell it now with a fresh mind. You know what I mean? But I went down to Oklahoma. That was my second time. When I plan to go down as soon as I can. Oh my God, I can't wait. I really can't wait, because now I have a bit more knowledge of what to do and what to expect and what methods to use. And when I went down there in March, it was the 19th to the 21st. I left on the morning of the 21st. And it was 3:30 in the morning of the 21st when I heard someone walking around my camp. But I arrived there on the 19th. So Um, yeah, so Oklahoma is the Kiamichi Mountains is Woodstock for Bigfoot hunters, you know. Um, it's the outdoors for nerds, and I'm a nerd, and I like the outdoors. I like Woodstock too. It's one of my favorite movies ever, documentaries. I love that Jimi Hendrix bit. God, that changed my life. Anyway, so we get there and we camp in our usual spot. Usual meaning it's my second time there. We camp in the spot, and but that's when we got most of the audio. I put my H4n Pro out that night, and I recorded a lot of audio that night. I think that was the night Dave and Elijah heard snap, snap, snap off what they thought was like an execution style shooting. And I think that that's what you can hear at the very start of my Tree Knox Whoops and Whistles video, which is on my channel. And I think that's it. I'm not too sure. I'm waiting to hear what they say about that. But I am. So that first night, there was a lot of vocal activity. And let me tell you, it was just a blast being there. Just hanging out and being by the fire in a place that you think that could have Bigfoot activity. You know, it's like being a kid again. There's something about it. It's the mystery, the adventure, and it's awesome. So, and then you're hanging out with people you really like, you know, that have the same kind of views as you. And like somebody that's into Bigfoot, it's not just about Bigfoot. They have other interests also because they're obviously open-minded people and they have a range of interests. That's what I love about the Bigfoot community. And that's what draws me to it. And that's why I do this channel, because I love meeting all these people that are into not just Bigfoot, but like a range of topics, because that seems to come with the Bigfoot thing. So, you know, the first night we have, I recorded everything. We have all these tree knocks, whoops, the loudest whoop I've ever heard on any video I caught. So we got that, and you can hear that all my video, or on my video on YouTube. And then the second night, we decided to go to the lower camp, and Dave and I had scouted that out before, like in October. There was people staying there, probably hunting. So we set up camp in the lower side of the lower end of the area that we're in, and then we go for a walk down to what Dave calls the bottoms, and it's kind of like a swampy area. It has a lovely river. It's very beautiful. And when we get down there, all of us were saying we found footprints. I mean, they were very suspect. They were like 4 feet apart. You can also see them on my video as well. So, but we were all commenting on how quiet it was. It was quiet. Not like the day before. Maybe it was because we are away from the stream. We heard peepers, spring peepers, as Dave calls them, like frogs. But that was it. And we all got a feeling that, I don't know if we all got a feeling we're being watched, but I certainly felt some kind of presence there. And we spent some time down there, hung out, some bro time. It was great. Awesome time. You know, God, I loved it. And so we go back up to camp. You know, we hang out, cook some steaks, and, you know, shoot the shit. And night falls. It's very quiet. It's so quiet. I think even the peepers had stopped at this point. I'm not sure. But it was quiet as hell. It was so. It wasn't. I grew up in Northern Ireland, right? And before a bomb went off, I'm not saying that I was there for all bombs, but before a bomb went off, there was a thickness in the air, like a kinetic energy. I don't know the scientific explanation for it. I'm sure you guys could correct me on that. Derek McManus, I know you're from Northern Ireland. Maybe you could give me an explanation for that. But I remember like it was a bomb scare, and everybody tried to get out of the area that the bomb was in. It was going to go off in 30 minutes, and everybody, you would see crowds of people coming towards you. And like, what's happening? Oh, bomb scare. So you would try to get out of there. But I remember being in the presence of a couple of bombs, and right before the bomb went off, there was like a thick atmosphere. It was like you could cut the air with a knife, that kind of way. I'll get into that whole um, thing at some point. I'm not going to talk about it all tonight, but I grew up in Northern Ireland, and during the Troubles, I actually was born a year after the Troubles started. The British named it the Troubles, even though it was like just one step away from an all-out civil war. But they have a great way of what's the word for it? Trivializing things. I don't know. Maybe they didn't want to call it. Well, it was civil unrest, whatever way you look at it. But this night in the Kaimichi Mountains, you could cut that atmosphere with a knife. And I'm like, this is very, very quiet. And even Dave, he's been down there. He's been going there for 20 years. And he was like, yeah, this is unnaturally quiet. And I've heard people talking about, the forest going quiet before, but I never really knew what it meant. Of course, intellectually, I knew what it meant, but I'd never experienced it. That night I experienced it. And it's like a deadness, So anyway, we all, shot the shit and went to our respective sleeping quarters. At some point, I was woken up. It was between 3 and 3:30. I don't know. But I don't know what it was that woke me up. Was there a loud bang? Or did I just wake up accidentally? But I heard these footsteps. And I think it was in front of my tent. Like Dave and my tent was like this, facing towards the fire. And this thing was between our tent and the fire. I think I didn't really listen long enough to find out exactly where it was, but that's what it sounded like. And it wasn't leaves, because there was a few leaves around, but the ground was kind of like packed dirt with some stone in it. But this sound was like a dumph, 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 like not a shuffling, like I said before, when you go for a pee or something. You're like, oh, I'm tired, I'm going to find the nearest tree. This was like a heavy footfalls. And I instinctively or reflexively, whatever the word is, freaked out, and I just went like this. Sorry. I just went like this. I had no headphones on, obviously, but I went like this, and I'm like, I'm not hearing this right now. I'm going to try to go back to sleep. It's just the fire. The wind's blowing the fire, and it's making those sounds. And as soon as I did that, when you put your hands over your ears and you can hear your heart beating, my heart was thumping. You could just feel the blood pumping. You could feel the vibration in your ears. My heart was going that fast. And I don't know how long I did that for. Man, I wish I had more balls, but I thought I did. But after a while, I was like, I don't know if I just took my hands away from my ears to see if it had stopped, or if I did it immediately, then called for the guys. Because I could hear those guys snoring. One of them was snoring anyway. And everything else was still. I mean, of course, later I confirmed that nobody was out of their tent. And I yelled, Dave, both those guys had guns. So obviously for protection against, people that would have ill intentions, not for freaking Bigfoot, because, we don't find them that big of a threat. But try telling me that at 3:30 in the morning. But I yelled for those guys. They got up. We kind of shone the flashlight around. I wasn't having any of it. Even the next day, I can't remember intently looking for footprints. I don't know why. I didn't I wasn't scanning the area. I'm not saying that I was afraid to or I wanted to get out of there. I just didn't really think of it. It's because I kind of knew what I heard and I didn't really need confirmation in the form of a footprint. I knew there was someone walking outside my tent. I knew it wasn't two legs. So it's like these people that see Bigfoot and they don't have photographs, but they don't really care what everybody else thinks because they saw it. So I wasn't down on my hands and knees like an archaeologist, looking for confirmation of what I'd heard that night in the dirt, I think we did look around a bit. Maybe Dave did a little bit more, but I didn't really care. I knew what I heard. That at that night I thought it was maybe, the wind blowing in the fire, and it makes this kind of blowing sound, but it was just too uniform. It wasn't that, and it wasn't a person, because you'd be mad. Like I said before, you'd be mad to walk around a campsite in Oklahoma in the middle of nowhere. You get shot. You would just get shot. That'd be it. So that's what happened. And then, well, that night we looked around for a bit. I got into the front seat of Dave's truck, and I locked the doors, and I put the sleeping bag over my head, because I'm like, if this thing comes back and sticks its face up to the window, I'll have a heart attack. And that's how I was thinking at 3:30 in the morning. The next time I go back down there, I will be prepared. This is my first time at the front. This is my first time behind enemy lines. The next time I go down there, I'll be waiting for this kind of scenario, and I promise you, I'll be more prepared. I'll have my phone close by. I'm not going to be like, oh, where's my phone? I'm going to get some audio of this. I will actually have an audio recorder in the campsite. So if anything like this happens again, at least I'll get some audio off it. I'm not saying I'm going to get up and jump out and zip down the tent and poke my iPhone through it, see if I can get a picture of it. But at least I'll be a little more prepared next time. And that's what it's all about. It's all about, I guess, trial and error. So I hope you guys enjoyed that story. I plan to go down there pretty soon, summer anyway, but it's addictive, whatever the word is. And I really want to get down again and hang out with the guys. Elijah and Dave are great. If you want to check out Dave's stuff, go to Bigfoot and More. We might even meet up with John Hodges, Anything Outdoors. He's got a YouTube channel as well. So we might all team up and go into the Kaimechi together. But for me, an Irishman coming from a place with no trees, it's intoxicating for me to go to these places. And, this wilderness is just unbelievable. And to think that there could be something like this that's undiscovered, or it fascinates me, and that's why I do it. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed listening. That's the entirety of my encounter. And I'm not going to talk about it again and bore the crap out of you guys. So anyway, see you all soon. Actually, I have actually, let me just have a quick look. I have Chris Reinhardt coming up pretty soon. He's from Connecticut and he does some investigations in Connecticut. I also have Chris Noel of, I always forget his channel. I'll just look it up right now. I don't know why I forget his channel. His channel is called Impossible Visits. He's a Vermont guy. So check those guys out. Check Bigfoot and more out. See you guys later.